Fortnite Chapter 3, a new map full of Easter eggs, and after 2 days of exploring, we have pieced together most of the references and hidden details that everyone just didn't notice. Ironically, the first Easter egg isn't on the map though, and that is the Mecha Team Leader Easter egg. The biggest and most noticeable one on the entire island right now is over in the ocean just west of Greasy Grove. Right off the coast of the island, you can see something huge in the sea, and if you look under the surface, you'll spot that this is actually the arm of the Mecha Team Leader from the final showdown. This is the same arm that was torn off during the live event in Season 9. While it felt random at first, it turns out that during that same live event, this arm was actually thrown into the ocean, and it's been sitting here ever since. With the flip of the island, now we can finally see the arm again. I guess we're just still waiting on the rest of the robot though. But this is just the beginning of a huge list of amazing Easter eggs in Chapter 3, starting with the Battle Pass foreshadowing. It turns out that almost every single outfit in this season's Battle Pass was actually leaked 3 months ago, and no one knew about it. Yeah, Epic Games sent out a survey to selected players and asked for their opinions on skin concepts, and these 5 skins were in the survey. I can't believe it. This whole time they were Chapter 3 outfits and we had no idea. But back to secrets that are actually in game, we have the Rockets Easter egg. Okay, there's an unnamed POI over near the Sanctuary named the Launchpad, and is actually served as the first location this season for these storyline quests. If you've been keeping up with your challenges, you might have been here and heard some dialogue from the scientist. What's cool about the Launchpad is that it's filled with 7 missile silos that were probably the same ones that sent out the rockets in Season X. And later in the season, we're apparently going to help the 7 launch more rockets from this place for challenges and a bunch of other stuff, which is kind of exciting. But it's not an Easter egg if it doesn't blow you away, and that's where the secret llama comes in. For years, coming across a llama in Fortnite has been a super rare occasion that you just have to take advantage of, especially before they became alive. But now in Chapter 3, there's an extremely secret Easter egg that is perfect for any llama hunters. In fact, some would call it one of the most overpowered Easter eggs on the entire list. If you head to the small farm southwest of Log Jam Lumberyard, you'll find the Lieutenant John Llama NPC, and just outside this farm, in the fences, there's a loot llama waiting for you to open. Get ready, this llama is here every single match. This is a secret guaranteed llama, and it's the first time we've ever had a 100% llama spawn in default Fortnite matches. And for lovers of Chapter 2 Season 2, you're gonna be super excited when you see the Midas Easter egg. There is a single island on the coast of the Fortnite map that holds a huge secret. If you head to this island, which is east of the Daily Bugle, you will realize it has a single building on it. And if you go into this building, it turns out it's just a restaurant. No signs or anything, it's just a cool little fancy restaurant on the outskirts of the map. But it's when you look closer, things start to get interesting. If you look on the dinner tables, you will spot menus and napkins that say the letter M on them, which gets even weirder because if you go to the pedestal at the entrance, there's a book that opens and, well, it's the exact book from Midas' office during Season 2. This Easter egg could mean that Midas has opened up his own restaurant on the Chapter 3 island, or at least one of his snapshots has. Either way, looks like we'll probably be seeing him again soon. And speaking of storyline characters, nobody is talking about the Red Cube Easter egg. If you go to the new Jones's POI, you'll spot a few things like how it's literally a society created by versions of John Jones. But there's an Easter egg in this place which is huge and not a single person has noticed. Over on one of the tables in this POI, you can find a miniature version of the blue cube. You know, the cube that sacrificed itself to save us all during the event? Well, it's here, but we are not focused on that. If you look next to this cube, you can see 3 die on the table. The first one is a purple dice, then a golden one, and then a red one. Just like the real cubes, we have purple Kevins, then the golden queen. So does this mean we're gonna see a red cube this chapter? I guess time will tell. But Easter eggs foreshadowing the future of Chapter 3 are all over the island like the Marvel Easter egg. We have our first collab POI of Chapter 3 on the island, and it is the Daily Bugle. And so with the Marvel POI, you gotta expect a lot of secrets, and one of the biggest Easter eggs in this whole place actually confirms some new skins, which might be dropping this season. If you take a look at the desks around the Bugle, they all pretty much look the same, except there is one single desk in this entire building that is stacked with files and newspaper clippings. And these have pictures of both the X-Men and Green Goblin on them. It is a bit random that Epic would add this into the game, or is it? With Green Goblin appearing in this month's Spider-Man movie, and X-Men characters already being in Fortnite, we could see both Cyclops and Goblin come to the game later this season. And Epic already confirmed this would be happening in the patch notes. And the Easter eggs get even better with the OG player Easter egg. Something we haven't seen since Chapter 1 is finally back in the game. You can find it over on the beaches of the island. They are the Moai Stoneheads from years ago and are a reference to the real-life ones on Easter Island. There is only one on the map right now, and it even has a ton of chests for you to loot if you go here. But only the most OG of players will remember Granny's house from Chapter 1. It was this iconic house on the top of a mountain on the original map, and if you played back then, you'll recognize that place. Well, get ready for the nostalgia to return because Granny's house is back at Chapter 3 and is now in the desert. It looks more modern to fit with the Chapter 3 theme, but, you know, it's an amazing Easter egg for veteran players. And for people who want a great callback to Chapter 2 instead, then we have the maze Easter egg. At the huge white house near Shifty Shafts, there's a big maze in the garden of this place, and if you make your way through it, you can see a ton of Easter eggs referencing Chapter 2. There's statues taken straight from Colossal Coliseum, especially the one with Potassium's peel skin on it. There's also a statue of a gnome to recognize the gnomes escaping the island storyline that happened at the very end of Chapter 2. What nobody has noticed though is the scientist Easter egg. Okay, so last year we figured out that The Rock was the secret voice actor of the Foundation, and we were all shocked that we were right. But back then we also figured out that the scientist was played by Joe McHale, who's known for playing Jeff Winger in Community. And so now with the scientist being back in the game after 2 years, he has way more voice lines and is an actual NPC on the island. And well, it turns out it comes with a few Easter eggs. The most secret of these is in his NPC description, which claims that the scientist has a brilliant engineer's mind, dashing good looks, and also writes his own bios. As you can see, Epic wrote that the scientist has dashing good looks, and this is actually a reference to Community, where Joe McHale's character was always known for calling himself handsome and being the best looking person in the show. It's an awesome Easter egg that hints perfectly at who voices the scientist. But it turns out it's not the only NPC with some amazing Easter eggs. If you head to the Joneses POI, it's pretty empty. There aren't that many actual Joneses there, except for a few. But if you go into one of the buildings, you'll actually be able to head into the basement and spot Brainiac locked inside of a prison cell. Seems that the Joneses wanted to include him in their society, but didn't want their brains to be in, so this is where he lives now. And on the other side of the map, if you head to Camp Cuddle, you can spot some awesome Easter eggs. There's a row of 3 cabins next to each other, all with different colored roofs. The gray one belongs to Metal Team Leader, as you can tell from the yellow and black tape on the beds. Then the yellow cabin is filled to the brim with rubber ducks, which is kind of creepy, but understandable considering it belongs to Quackling. And then the third and final cabin is actually just the bathroom of the camp, but it is filled with Deadpool-related items. Turns out this one belongs to Cuddlepool, and the fact that it's the bathroom is a reference to Chapter 2 Season 2, when Deadpool was hiding in the agency's bathroom cubicles. Now that is pretty funny, but what none of us expected was the return of the shrinking chair. One of the biggest, or I guess smallest, Easter eggs of Chapter 2 was a chair in the middle of the map that would shrink every single week until it got so small you could barely see it. We were all invested with this shrinking chair and knew it'd probably never be seen again once Chapter 3 brought us a new map, except turns out it wasn't true. Keynet players have discovered that the shrinking chair has actually been reincarnated as a sofa and actually has 3 chests in front of it. Now that is a way to make more people pay attention. Maybe this sofa will start shrinking every week as well. We gotta keep an eye on this one for sure. But nobody knows about the Mystique secret. At the very end of Chapter 2, in the final item shop, Epic Games actually put the OG Chapter 1 default skins in the shop. And then when Chapter 3 came around, we got entirely new defaults. So right now, the only default skins you could use in the game are the OG ones and the new ones. That means the Chapter 2 skins are gone forever, except maybe not forever. Yeah, it turns out Epic Games actually forgot to update Mystique's emote, which means if you have her, you could be one of the only people in the world to use the Chapter 2 default skins again. Her emote will give you the skin, so you might want to use this one before it gets fixed. But it's not just the current map that has a ton of Easter eggs, or even some in the Chapter 2 finale event that almost no one picked up on. During the event cinematic, we were all blown away when the Foundation was revealed as The Rock, and the entire island literally flipped upside down. But this event was packed with Easter eggs, like how John Jones actually references Han Solo when he first grabs the pistol. They pose in the exact same way, and this is either a neat reference or a tease from Epic that we might be getting a Han Solo skin in the future, and at this point, you never know. We also had Easter eggs from the Foundation. Because he's played by The Rock, the animators just couldn't resist from adding a reference to the iconic eyebrow raise, and he does it just before he puts his helmet back on in the event. And then, at the very end of the finale, we watch the island completely flip over, and then we're left stranded for a day. This is obviously a homage to Titanic's famous ending scene where the boat sinks in a similar fashion to the island, and then Rose is left on one piece of debris on the ocean, waiting to be saved. But for way less subtle references, we have the Gears of War Easter egg. On the island, there's actually a concrete blockade hidden in Logjam Lumberyard that has the Gears of War logo spray painted onto it. It's hard to spot if you're just running around the POI, but with a little detective work, you can find it. And this is an Easter egg obviously teasing the upcoming Gears of War collab. They'll have challenges and skins that you can see in the trailer. But it's not as cool as the Agency Easter egg. Okay, there's been one piece of concept art for the Agency that has been haunting us for years now. This painting originally showed up in the Agency itself when it was first released almost 2 years ago and has appeared in a few other locations throughout Chapter 2. You can even spot it falling off the wall in the Season 5 trailer, and it turns out this concept art has even followed us to the new map map as well. Yeah, you can find it at the Jones's POI leaning beside a tree, and the most confusing part, it is actually indestructible. Yeah, for some reason you can't destroy the thing no matter what. It is super weird. But to wrap it up, our final Easter egg. The Chapter 3 map feels really different, and it might be down to a single reason. Since day 1 of Fortnite, all the way from Chapter 1 Season 1 to Chapter 2's finale, we have had Pleasant Park and Retail Row on the island. They have never been off of the map, and sure, they've had changes like Retail becoming Mega Mall or Pleasant turning into Doom's Domain, but they have never been removed. It is until now. Rest in peace, Pleasant and Retail. This is the first time they have ever been removed from the map, and I gotta say, I'm gonna miss them. It's gonna feel really weird without them on the map, but, you know, it's important to move on. Besides that, I guess we do have Greasy and Tilted coming back. Anyways, it's been Tommy. Hope you guys are enjoying Chapter 3, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.